he forgot to mention that he is a senior researcher. Yes, at KNCCI.
Thank you.
I think I'll just add, something maybe you forgot.
Introduce your neighbor, introduce me. Where I want a partner, you are a partner, but you can introduce me. Mwanafunzi anaintroduce mwalimu. Sijui, ndio hivyo maisha siku hizi. Maisha yamebadilika.
Yes. Bit confusing. So he's Clement Ngala. He's the director at KIPO.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'll introduce my partner, Abna Ali. She's the Governance, Ecosystem and Strategic Lead at SIA Bridge Limited, where they provide financing to various sectors in the economy.
Fantastic.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So I'm going to introduce Mary Gilbert from Amsterdam in business banking, where they manage company money and also funding and fundings to the company.
I didn't bring them.
So she's the right person to go for money.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My partner is Nina Wamiti. She's a marine scientist at
Serve skills peke yake. Serve skills peke yake. Hizo zingine.
So she studies the marine cycle and from harvesting how fish work in the ocean. It's been quite interesting.
Leadership and management consultants.
That our colleagues have been. Thank you.
You can also say I'm a director at the chamber, Don Sifuto.
You're a director of the chamber. From APSA. He works in the Department of Corporate Banking. He deals with, say, second-tier customers, people who have businesses. So his work is really to give them access to resources, ideas, and more money. So
which name do they know you officially? Otumbo Vincent Ovi. Otumbo Vincent Ovi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Apparently I like fish. I'm very happy that I'm meeting so many fish researchers here and scientists. So we have a bondship. My partner is called Jessica. She's the Deputy Director at the Northern Corridor Transit and Transport Coordination Authority. Yes, I think that's all you need to know.
Good morning. Those of you who are around this region, obviously know Express Shipping Line. Stephen Lokeke is from Express Shipping Line, and he's the minds, the behind the scenes of Express Shipping Line. He's the chief operating officer. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to introduce my colleague, Cassie Mpaka, the Senior Post and Shipping Chancellor of Staff. Deals with advisory to the government for the implementation of international treaties and conventions.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to introduce my colleague, Mr. Simon Baya.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
I only have one statement.
Yes, my partner here is Madam Fatma Hussain, who is a board member of the Chamber of Commerce, Mombasa chapter, and also a specialist in hospitality industry, maybe in the future, part of the Africa Connect.
Let's appreciate them. I understand. Did any one of you have a partner? Oh, let's continue then.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I had a pleasure to introduce my partner over here, a good friend. It's called Douglas Machondo. He's an expert of tea and also interested in octopus and fisheries. And you can assist.
All right.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Apologies for coming late. It's not discipline, but allow me to introduce my friend here, Kevin. Yeah, in turn, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. He has taken the identity of the partner. He's passionate. Yes, please. Sorry for interrupting you.
I'm introducing a very good person. Actually, I know him. It's called Mr. Rahim. He works in an industry where we all depend. He works in bulk stream. So they specialize in wheat and fertilizer and many other things. So he's the right guy to talk to.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. My partner's name is Alan. Like he said himself earlier. From 3WG Logistics, that's a three-way group logistics. They deal in clearing and forwarding and shipping as well.
Thank you. Let's appreciate them.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm here with an expert on exports, who is called Regina. The other name is so hard because it's a Shaita what? Washuka.
Yeah.
So she's an investor support officer for export processing zone authority here in Kenya. So she leads the coast region. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm here to introduce Gilbert. He's the CEO of Blue Radio, and their focus is on the blue economy report.
All right, let's appreciate them. The two partners that were merged during the meeting. Good morning.
It's a pleasure to be here. Introduce my partner, Convened, Chamber Director, Mombasa Chapter. Chamber Manager, our trusted advisor in everything for us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, once again.
Good morning.
I'm going to introduce John Kumu. He's from Samanity, Logistics Officer.
Let's appreciate them. I think I got a partner by choice. He didn't force me. So he can introduce me first.
Good morning. Good morning. Watumo Vincent is not my name, but he is a director in the Society of Commerce, Mombasa chapter. Yes. But equally, he runs an organization, a company called Subskills, and he specializes on leadership and management training, and he's a consultant at the same time. So, yeah. But my name is
Yeah, thank you. Let's appreciate him. I had the honor of being introduced by the government. My name is Patrick Mwavula Mbele.
Your name?
Yes, I'm introducing my partner. I'm taking. My partner here, we are alumni of the University of Jomo Kenyatta. Sindio? University of Agriculture and Technology, Mombasa campus. He also got into the political office as the MCA of Bamburi Ward in 2022. And when we talk about blue economy, he is the prominent champion of blue economy in Mombasa. So can you put your hands together as we celebrate my partner, Honorable Patrick Mwavula Mbele. And in the same equal measure, I'd like now to invite our chairman, who is the host of this conversation, and none other than Mr. Aboud Said Jamal, the chairman of Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry, Mombasa chapter, to take us to the next level. Let's give him a round of applause. I was told that I have to put this like that.
Morning.
Good morning.
Allow me to break protocol. I was feeling very lonely. I didn't have a partner, but this young gentleman has come in. Allow me to give him some time to introduce himself. I think it's very important, and his arrival was very timely. So, Karibu Chief, please introduce yourself before we carry on.
All right, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Oh, also me. Oh, I thought it's only for chambers. Well, my name is Engineer Ali Sharif. I'm the County Chief Officer responsible for matters transport, infrastructure, and public works. So I think it's a pleasure. Thank you so much, Chairman, for inviting me to this conversation. I think mine today is just to listen and to appreciate what is going on. I'm not a champion of blue economy, but I'm a but I'm a champion of traffic management. So, and so thank you so much, and it's a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much. Once again, I think we are well acquainted with almost everybody in the room. But for avoidance of doubt, my name is Aboud Jamal, Chairperson of KNCCI Mombasa chapter. I'd like to first welcome you all to this very special session that our friend who's been rightly introduced has come from, very far to be able to join us and share with us some words of wisdom. And maybe for those who might also be joining us today on the business side of things, today was more of a lecture just to bring us, up to speed with what he's been doing. He's doing a lot supporting other governments. And when we met at ITLS last year, he told me, Chairman, Mombasa, first of all, has a special place in his heart. That's why he's come back again. But he believes in the potential that we have, especially a port city with a lot of history, one, two, connecting a lot of countries here. And that is why you're seeing Uganda is here, Northern Corridor is here represented as well. It's basically a very good mix of business, private sector, government or multi-governmental institutions, including Moesna as well, who are all here to be able to hear from you. And I'm very sure that with the executive and the county assembly represented here today, whatever we are able to discuss or get from you will have a lasting impact moving forward in how we shape our county, matters logistics, transport, and international trade. So we really appreciate Mr. Ravi for your coming here. We do not take it for granted, and we are hopeful that we'll be able to walk with you an amazing journey in transforming our county and definitely our region pamoja. So karibu sana to Mombasa. That means welcome very much. Just a snapshot, we had dinner when I was welcoming him on Saturday, and he told me he actually took the initiative. He didn't wait for us as the hosts to take him round. So he went because he wanted to learn more about our county and the history. So he actually went to Fort Jesus and a few other sites just to be able to appreciate the kind of history that we have as a place, as a people as well. And he was really amazed. So I hope that we'll continue giving him an amazing reception, amazing, hosting, so that he'll be able to come back again and again and again to Mombasa. Thank you so much, Mr. Ravi. Welcome, and looking forward to hearing the amazing lecture that you prepared for us today. Karibu sana. And I think it will also be good to be able to share, just in a nutshell, what you're doing with Nigeria, what you're doing with Cote d'Ivoire, what you're doing with Mauritius, so that the people in the room can also appreciate, that Mombasa is very unique in your eyes, and really, we should feel special. So, welcome, please. Thank you.
If you allow me, I will stick to have some minutes here. But thank you so much, Chairman, for the welcome, and thank you for everyone. Thank you. Just for what Chairman said, yeah, indeed, I'm a logistician by formation and profession, but I've also had the opportunity to travel across Africa. So this year is my 7th year in mainland Africa. And I had the opportunity to also be engaged as a research associate at the CREMPO, which is the Center of Research for Maritime Ports and Logistics of Western Central Africa.
And that's how I started since last year to study corridors in Africa. And actually, that was about 43 weeks ago that I was here. And the first one was the blueprint on the Mombasa and the Northern Corridor. Thereafter, we've done also Durban and the North-South Corridor, Mauritius and the Indian Ocean Corridor, and obviously the last one was the Abidjan-Lagos Corridor. So now the idea today is to be able to bring forth what we believe that Mombasa has a particular role to play. For info, we've also got 10 different, as we were going studying, we believe that there are 10 important cities in Africa, which are gate cities. One would be Mombasa, Nairobi, Abidjan, Lagos, Kinshasa, Durban, Joburg, Port Louis, Eben, and also Dubai for anything that gets out of Africa to global gateways. So please allow me now to start. Mr. Vincent, you're the one playing around, right, with the slides? You're the one moving the slides, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. So added to the next delay. A decision made without visibility of the whole journey can transfer costs rather than remove it. The practical task is not to erase institutions engaging global trade, capital, technology, and markets while becoming more capable of shaping the architecture around the gateway. That intention must then become an operating model, a productive gateway economy across continent, city, ocean, and people. It must be translated through transformation machinery, which is flows, value chains, productive platforms, and must do more than that. It must connect institutional authorial intelligence, industrial transformation, climate stewardship, and multimodal systems around a coherent productive purpose. Institutional authority aligns mandate and critical interfaces. Capital authority ensures that credible productive propositions can become bankable systems. Corridor intelligence converts operational and economic data into coordinated decision. Industrial transformation links the gateway to processing, logistics, value-added services, manufacturing, and enterprise development. Climate and ocean stewardship protect the gateway's long-term competitiveness. Multimodal transformation prevents the corridor from being structurally dependent on one mode. This is not an invitation for a port authority to perform every role. It is an invitation for the port to understand its systemic influence and to participate in architectures that connect competent actors. The fifth generation port is therefore not larger simply because it handles more cargoes. It is more mature because it leaves behind more capability. It becomes an offered trade systems rather than a cargo handling asset alone. For the maritime professionals in this room, this does not diminish the port's operational mandate. It elevates the economic meaning of excellent port performance. For county and business leaders, it also makes it clear that productive transformation cannot be delegated to the port on alone. A fifth generation gateway is created through competent institutions connected by a common productive purpose. Next slide, please. The corridor must navigate two journeys at the same time. The first journey is the cargo journey, which is origin, ports, customs, rail, and road, inland node, and regional market. The second journey, which is of interest to us today, this journey is concerned with flow, reliability, compliance, and cost. The second is the value journey, production, transformation, services, knowledge, finance, and reinvestment. This journey is not consulting model, digital system without standards, industrial zones without demand, financing without a pipeline, and climate ambition without operational consequence. So we have 6 layers, one coordinated economic operating system. Next one, please. Intelligence is complete only when evidence changes institutional behavior. The operating system requires enabling disciplines, governance, standards, data, capital, capability, and a scorecard. Governance establishes what decisions. Standards create common definition. Data make the system visible. Capital allows credible responses to be funded. Capability ensures that institutions and enterprise can act. A corridor that cannot learn will continue funding yesterday's assumptions. This is why intelligence is fundamentally institutional, not technological. Technology can accelerate visibility. Only institutions can convert visibility into coordinated behavior. The practical opportunity is an annual corridor learning discipline in which operators identify recurring friction, enterprises reveal market constraints, institutions state what decisions followed, and the scorecard shows whether the system has become more capable. So again, intelligence is complete only when evidence changes institutional behavior. Next slide. So maturity is not more technology. It is the growing capacity to see, coordinate, decide, and learn. The maturity path moves from manual records to interoperable platforms to integrated systems to predictive intelligence and finally coordinated learning. Each stage must create the conditions for the next. The error is to jump directly to prediction while foundational data, standards, and institutional trust remain weak. Predictive systems built on fragmented definitions can produce sophisticated confusion. For Mombasa and the Northern Corridor, this maturity pathway can guide investment sequencing. The question should not be, what is the newest technology? It should be, what is the next institutional capability the corridor must require? Because the destination is not a dashboard, it is coordinated learning. The purpose of a corridor, is not movement alone. It is the concept of productive yield that movement creates. Productive yield emerged from a question that continues to trouble throughout this work. If movement is increasing, what is the economy becoming? Throughput can tell us that the system is busy. It cannot by itself tell us whether the enterprises are stronger. Knowledge is deepening. Productive capital is forming, or the next generation is inheriting greater capability. Productive yield is an attempt to make the development test explicit. The architecture begins with 3 inputs. Cargo movements provide flow and market connection. Corridor intelligence provides visibility, coordination, and economic understanding. Productive capability provides enterprises, skills, institutions, and assets capable of converting opportunity. These inputs enter a productive conversation engine. Governance aligns the systems. Enterprise identify opportunity and leakage. Industry converts input into higher value outputs. Enterprises distributes capability across the economy. Capital allows productive propositions to scale. The result is fivefold of a yield. Industrial yield appears in processing, manufacturing, and logistic value-added services. Enterprise yield appears in stronger locally rooted firms and suppliers. Knowledge appears in skills, data, methods, and institutional memory. Capital yield appears in investable opportunities and reinvestment. Trade yield appears in stronger access to buyers, markets, and distribution channels. This changes the corridor scorecard. We still measure movement performance, but we also measure what movement leaves behind. The corridor succeeds when each unit of movement creates progressively more value, capability, and reinvestment. For Mombasa, this means asking a second set of questions alongside throughput. How many local firms entered higher value supply relationships? Which services were developed around the gateway? What skills were transferred? Which productive assets were financed? How much value was retained and reinvested? These questions do not compete with port performance. They reveal its wider economic yield. As the corridor succeeds when each unit of movement creates more value, capability, and reinvestment opportunities. Next one, please. Mr. Vincent, next slide, please. A corridor, no, slide 12. Okay. The next one. No, one before. Okay, that's the one. A corridor becomes productive when value circulates within the economy instead of escaping from it. Yeah, that's the one. The productive loop moves through 6 stages: movement, conversion, yield, retention, reinvestment, and expanded capability. Expanded capability then improves the quality of the next movement cycle. In the wider doctrine, the same logic can be read as regenerative sequence, that is, to create, transform, retain, circulate, reinvest, and compound. The purpose is not to prevent value from leaving Africa. It is to make more value more productive while it is here and to ensure that the next cycle begins from a stronger base. Leakage can occur at every stage. Import dependence can weaken conversion. Weak enterprise capability can transfer opportunity outward. Limited domestic ownership can reduce retained value. Capital flight can interrupt reinvestment. Weak governance can prevent expanded mobility from compounding. Value leakage is not an argument for economic isolation. Mombasa must remain globally connected. The issue is whether global connection builds local and regional capability or merely accelerates circulation through a shallow productive base. The objective is disciplined openness. Attract external capital, technology, and markets while deliberately strengthening domestic enterprise, skills, productive assets, and institutional knowledge. The productive loop gives us a practical diagnostic. Where is value created? Where does it escape? Which interface must change? What must be retained? And what can be reinvested? What additional capability should the next cycle inherit? For business, leakage should become a capability building agenda. Supplier development, certification, market intelligence, appropriate finance, stronger contracting, or a credible partnership. The task is to identify the actual constraints and test whether the next cycles retains more value. Because the strategic test is not only where value is created, but whether it can be retained, reinvested, and compounded. Next slide, please. Yes. Corridor industrialization must be selective. The 7 families shown here are candidates' hypotheses: agro-processing and cold chain, automotive and mobility components, pharmaceutical and medical supplies, light manufacturing and assembly, construction materials and minerals beneficiation, maritime industries and the blue economy, the logistic value-added services, and trade tech. The presence on this slide is not a declaration that all 7 should proceed. Each must pass through an evidence gate. We must test market demand, the input base, logistics fit, employment potential, value capture potential, capital readiness, climate resilience, and institutional readiness. The purpose of the gate is not to suppress ambition, it is to protect ambition from becoming rhetoric. What emerges should be a small number of coherent demonstration systems. The first proposed hypothesis is an agri-food cold chain system connecting the Mombasa Gateway, coastal production, and inland markets. The second is a nearshoring and light manufacturing system centered on Dongo Kondu assembly capability and supplier upgrading. The third is a Sea-Ray Lake logistics and value-added services linking Mombasa, Naivasha, Kisumu, and Great Lakes. These are demonstration hypotheses requiring verification, not commercial commitments announced from a lecture here. Demand must be verified, procurement and offtake must help convert selection into enterprise formation. Suppliers must be capable of graduating into a higher value relationship. Only then should the system scale what works. Selection is a form of seriousness. A coherent demonstration can generate stronger evidence, more credible propositions, and deeper institutional learning than a long catalog of sectors without sequence, demand, and ownership. So select by evidence, verify demand, use procurement and offtake to build suppliers, that's when scale that works. Next slide. On one maritime gateway, 6 differentiated productive nodes, 1 regional market. The industrial span rejects the idea that every productive function must be concentrated in Mombasa. Mombasa's strength increases when the wider corridor specializes coherently. The Mombasa Gateway anchors maritime access, the port linked production. Marikiani provides coastal productive space and logistics value added services. Nairobi connects enterprise, capital, knowledge, and consumption. Naivasha links rail, industry, and productive land. Kisumu creates the compulsory interface with Lake and Western markets. The Great Lakes interface extends the systems into regional commercial demand. The objective is not a line on a map, it is multimodal productive circulation. Sea, rail, road, and lake must connect differentiated regional functions. This allows Mombasa to become more than a place where the corridor begins. It becomes the maritime anchor of a distributed industrial system. This distributed development is not a loss of importance for Mombasa. Differentiated inland functions generate productive demand that returns to the maritime gateway. Mombasa becomes stronger by orchestrating connection, not by attempting to contain the entire corridor economy on the coast. Not one mega zone, but 4 productive economies operating in one system. In fact, this is how I see today 4 different sectors of the economy shaping up the economy of Mombasa. The first one is the continent. So Mombasa can become the regional productive gateway connecting Dongo Kundu, manufacturing, nearshoring, logistic value-added services, and regional distribution to the wider Northern Corridor market. The second sector, or pole, if you want to, is the hub, is the city in itself, a metropolitan productive economy in which urban logistics, food systems, e-commerce, circularity, and local production improve both economic participation and the daily functionality of Mombasa and the coastal region as a whole. The third one is the ocean, a productive ocean economy built not only fisheries, but beyond fisheries, which includes marine value chain or marine industries, maritime services. If Nairobi wants to become the Silicon Savannah with fintech, Mombasa can become the hub for blue tech and ocean knowledge, energy. Mombasa's maritime inheritance must become a contemporary productive capability, not to remain only a historic identity. The fourth sector is people, a visitor, knowledge, and experience economy connecting business, investment, educations, meetings and conferences, culture, and ocean leisure. People are not an ancillary theme. Skills, enterprise, knowledge, and experience determine whether the gateway economy is locally rooted. These 4 sectors of the economy must be connected through supplier development and enterprise graduation. The objective is not merely to register more firms, but to help capable enterprises progress from peripheral participation towards higher standard, stronger contracts, greater value capture, and more demanding market relationships. The network is more resilient than a single enclave because it distributes opportunity and creates several routes through which movement can become local and regional capability, so that the gateway deepens when continent, city, ocean, and people operate as one productive operating system. Next one, please. Mr. Vincent, next one, please. Okay. The green transition must improve competitiveness, not become a decorative sustainability layer. The Green Freight 2030 connects modal shift, rail, road integration, and Kisumu multimodal interface and access to Great Lakes market. Its ambition includes lower emissions intensity, greater rail and water participation, reduced logistic inefficiency, and stronger local participation. These figures must be understood as program ambitions requiring empirical validation, baseline confirmation, and careful sequencing. Distinguished lecture should inspire direction without converting aspirations into unsupported promises. The strategic principle remains sound. Low carbon movement, lower cost, and stronger corridor resilience can reinforce one another when transition is designed as an operating system. Green freight is therefore not only about fuel. It is about mode, asset utilization, route design, energy, data, reliability, and the productive systems connected to transport. Decarbonization must lower costs, improve reliability, and build productive capability. Next one. Transformation requires a minimum viable architecture for delivery and learning. The compact is not another institution and not another large committee. The compact brings together 6 elements: curated institutions, demonstration systems, corridor intelligence, productive capital, and a 3-level scorecard and an annual learning cycle. Curated institutions are not an invitation to another large committee. They are disciplined coalition of actors with clear roles and critical interfaces. Demonstration systems make delivery visible. Corridor intelligence provides evidence for decisions. Productive capital connects credible propositions to appropriate financing. The scorecard measures movement, productive yield, and system capability. The learning cycle ensures that evidence changes the next round of action. The compact is minimum viable because it does not attempt to solve every problem before the beginning. It creates enough shared architecture to move from doctrine to discipled execution. Africa must increasingly design the systems through which its value moves. For Mombasa, that means constructing a compact capable of curating, demonstrating, measuring, learning, and scaling. The compact should therefore begin modestly but seriously. Select a small number of institutions with decision relevance. Choose demonstration systems that can be measured. Establish a shared evidence base. Clarify who acts after each finding. Publish what was learned. The value of compact will not lie in its ceremony, but in whether it shortens the distance between evidence and coordinated flow. Everything I have argued this morning converges here. Mombasa as a gateway economy. A gateway economy is not another name for the port. It is not a branding exercise, a promotional program, or a set of commercial work packages. It is an economic condition, a condition in which movement systematically strengthens the place through which it moves. 8 capabilities on the screen can be read through 3 connected responsibilities. 1, to build productive places and productive people, a better port-city relationship, productive territories and industry, stronger enterprises, jobs, and skills. 2, connect capability to capital, markets, and intelligence. Prepare credible productive propositions for appropriate finance. Connect firms to buyers, procurement, and regional global markets, and build shared economic intelligence on movement, productive yield, leakage, and performance. 3. Govern the interfaces that make the system coherent, connect the blue economy and the green threat to competitiveness, and clarify how county, national port corridor, and regional mandates work together. None of these capabilities succeeds alone. Port city improvement without productive territories may improve movement without deepening value. Industry without enterprises, skills, and capital may remain a concept. Intelligence without decision interfaces may remain a dashboard. The leadership discipline is therefore precise. Lead where Mombasa has authority, convene where mandates intersect, partner where delivery is shared, and advocate where national or regional action is required. The system must remain state relevant, evidence led, and institutionally prudent. And so we return to the question with which we began. What does movement leave behind? It should leave behind stronger enterprises, better skills, productive assets, deeper knowledge, more investable propositions, more capable institutions, and a stronger foundation for the next cycle. The gateway becomes an economy when movement builds capability, movement that Mombasa can retain, reinvest, and compound. Mombasa must connect globally without surrendering authorship locally. Across African gateways, I have seen the same strategic tensions. Cities want global connection, but they do not always define what capability that connection should leave behind. Mombasa can resolve that tension differently. It can welcome the world with confidence while maintaining deliberate about the economy, knowledge, and institutional strength it intends to build. Its horizon extends across 4 strategic relationships: its Indian Ocean Gateway position, its multimodal northern corridor, its corridor intelligence, and its capacity to connect credible, productive propositions to capital. The Indian Ocean is not simply a body of water besides Mombasa. It is a geopolitical and commercial arena connecting Africa, the Gulf, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and the global shipping system. Mombasa's opportunity is not to imitate another gateway, it is to offer its own position. Africa, Indian Ocean facing, corridor connected, and productively anchored. Global connection should bring markets, technology, capital, and knowledge. Local authorship should determine how these flows strengthen enterprise, capability, productive assets, and institutional confidence. Mombasa can welcome global operators, investors, technology providers, and market partners while remaining deliberate about local enterprise participation, skills transfer, data governance, and productive reinvestment. Authorship is what follows openness to become local development. Infrastructure changes movement, systems change behavior, but a frontier becomes a civilization only when 3 dimensions mature together: system, mindset, and culture. System provides institutions, rules, infrastructure, and intelligence. Mindset changes the economic imagination from moving cargo to offering productive value. Culture embeds coordination, evidence, responsibility, and reinvestment into the way institutions and enterprises behave. A sophisticated system through a fragmented mindset will underperform. A visionary mindset without institutional systems will remain rhetorical. Institutions and ideas without a culture of responsibility will not compound. The sequence is therefore system, mindset, culture, and a better system. Each cycle should leave institutions more capable, enterprises stronger, and the next generation better prepared. So Mombasa is not only a port strategy. It is a way of thinking, governing, and building. The responsibility rests across this room. Institutions create the rules and continuity. Businesses prove productive possibilities. Universities form knowledge and challenge assumptions. Communities remind the system that development has a lived geography. Leadership holds this contribution to a common standard. Civilization begins when responsible behavior becomes normal enough to survive changes of office, project, and personality. And the last one is, as we travel from oceanic inheritance to corridor intelligence, from cargo movement to productive yield, from infrastructure to institution, and from gateway scale to economic authorship. The final change is concise: offer the system, transform value, do not allow movement to remain economically shallow. Build the capability, do not measure success only through assets and throughput. Circulate, reinvest, and compound. Do not allow each development cycle to begin from the same institutional starting point. Become the frontier. Do not wait for a finished model to arrive from elsewhere. Authorship is not isolation. It is the maturity to engage the world from a position of clarity. It is the capacity to select, coordinate, learn, and build. It is the discipline to respect mandates while refusing fragmentation. It is the courage to measure not only what moves, but what remains. Mombasa's future must not simply be imagined, it must be deliberately built. That building requires port institutions, county leadership, national agencies, corridor bodies, enterprises, financiers, universities, communities, and international players. But collaboration becomes productive only when there is architecture, a shared understanding of purpose, roles, evidence, and consequence. And so we return to where this argument began for Jesus. Generation of external powers understood the strategic significance of shaping systems of circulation. Our question is different. It is no longer who controls Mombasa. It is what architecture Mombasa can now help Africa offer. The frontier man does not promise that the terrain will be easy. He demonstrates that the terrain can be read. He shows that distance can become connection, friction can become design, movement can become capability, and geography can become authorship. Mombasa stands where an oceanic systems meet a continental system. Few cities inherit such a strategic possibility. Fewer still acquire the institutional confidence to convert that possibility into a compounding economy. The question before Mombasa is no longer whether it is a gateway. The question is whether it will offer the gateway economy and its geography makes possible. So may Mombasa move with intelligence, discipline, connect without surrounding authorship, and that every cycle of movement be behind leave behind more enterprise, more knowledge, more productive capital, more institutional capability, and a stronger foundation of those who would come next. Those who inherit this gateway should inherit more than expounded throughput. They should inherit capable institutions, competitive enterprises, transferable skills, productive territories connected to markets, and a culture that knows how to learn. This is the measure of authorship is whether they begin from a stronger foundation than the one received. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aziz. I don't think that a round of applause is enough. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, please. That's all right. I'm not really a man of too many speeches or words. I think most of you know that. But before I give it for the Q&A session of reactions, I'd like to introduce two gentlemen who walked in a little bit late. One is a very close friend of mine, and I'm glad that he walked in. Okay, he got a few slides, but at least he might be able to give us some reaction. But it's very good that we had him in the room with us because he plays a vital role. One of hosting us today. Secondly, as assistant director of ports and shipping, I think most of the purview of what we've heard from you, especially moving towards intelligent systems in the region, he will be playing a crucial role in making sure that we are actually moving towards that direction. So Juma, please give us a few words if you don't mind, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I see very many familiar faces around, and this means the importance of this gathering today. First, let me apologize for coming late. We had another meeting which was going on, and I had to take charge of that meeting. But I believe you have been in safe hands. We have our officers with you here. And I'm glad that the proceedings have been going on very well so far. The conversation which has been taking place today is very important, very critical as we try to position Mombasa into the global arena and also in the arena of Africa now that we are focused on integrating trade. The intra-Africa trade remains very minimal. I think less than 5%. And it's time that we build and enhance our corridors so that we can be able now to connect Africa and also to connect Africa to the global world. Trade cannot expand in Africa unless we build corridors which are resilient and which we can be able now to compete with other corridors globally. The movement of goods within even just our region is stressed with a lot of bottlenecks, land-time barriers, high cost of moving goods and all that. So I believe these conversations we are having, which now puts Mombasa as a center stage in the global arena, and I am sure that our interactions today will come up with suggestions for the way forward. We here as Kenya Maritime Authority, our mandate is regulating the maritime sector, and we have a lot of focus on matters relating to maritime trade, efficiency, maritime efficiency, availability of maritime transport services, and also the matters relating to cost. We have registered around 35 shipping lines present at the port of Mombasa. All the global shipping lines have a global service at the port of Mombasa. So we are lucky that we have the connectivity with the global industry. But we're trying to challenge now the movement of goods within Africa. The services, we have talked about regional cabotage, we have talked about regional shipping lines, we have talked about many interventions which will address the connectivity in Africa and also the land bridge connecting east and west, north and south. So these kind of conversations are very critical towards the placement of Mombasa and also Africa as a lead in the global trade. We have a lot of potential. I think it's time we take action towards realizing these goals. Karibuni Sana, our Director General who wanted to be part of this conversation. He's still on leave. He was to resume today, but due to other factors, he will be reporting on Wednesday. but he conveys his sincere greetings and support towards this conversation, and we look forward to further engagement with you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Juma. One last gentleman is going to introduce himself, and it's also very important that he's here with us. He's the CC of Finance. I think when we were listening to the presentation, there was a lot of talk about capital, finances, and generally touching on the county leadership as well. So I think Bwana CC, karibu sana, Mheshimiwa, please. I think when they hear it from the private sector, the kind of support that we're able to offer them, we should be able to move miles ahead from where we are. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for attending this wonderful lecture. Ovi, I think we can take it up.
We can give the chairman and the speakers a round of applause. I think we've been sitting a lot, eh? Don't we just stand and stretch a little bit? So long as you don't hit somebody, just stretch a little bit. Yeah. Break some bones. Okay. Some time back, before you sit, I was taught by a Ghanaian on how to clap. Not this Zanyayo. Moja. So can we put our hands like this? Ensure you have some good space. You are likely to cause an accident. So get some good space. We don't want head-on collision. Okay. Your legs are apart like this. So let's go. Wow. You bend. I can see Abla there. Abla. You need to get working absa. Okay, let's go. Wow. As you say it. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Wow. Now we go. The second part, we go a little bit wider. Wow. Then the final. Wow. Pauline, you forgot to. Let's appreciate ourselves. Please, if you have a question to the amazing gentleman called Ravi, this is the time to shoot the questions. Anyone who would like to ask a question from the lecture? Clarification? Repetition? Yes, sir. Please, it is good you tell us a little bit about your name, and then you ask the question. And even the organization that you represent in about a minute, and then you ask the question. Thank you very much.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's John Okoth. I am here as a member of KIFWA. And I was very excited with the presentation. And when, especially he mentioned about the Green Freight 2030. I don't know whether it was just about a vision or where we need to go in 2030. But one of the things that I felt that for us to be able to achieve this kind of milestone with the green freight, which is very critical in these times, and especially in regards to sustainability, because world over right now, logistics or maritime is going the sustainable way. And I think this demands a bit of some policy approach and massive investment, especially in our country, because we rely so much on fossil fuels. So there will have to be more investment in terms of renewable energy or green energy, which can be able to facilitate then the smooth movement of cargo within the northern corridor towards the Great Lakes and any other place in Africa, where we are serving as from Mombasa Port. For us to be able to realize what basically you are trying to demonstrate to us. So in as much as it looks like it's an ambitious dream, 2030. I'm not so sure whether by 2030 we would have improved our green energy, which can be able to support sustainability in terms of logistics. But that would be able to impact a lot, especially in terms of the cost of doing business in this country. Because unless we touch on our energy sector, and especially do electric train, for instance, because most of the cargo, in as much as we have a train which is still using fossil fuels, so you realize that we cannot be able to achieve the benefits of lower cost of doing business in terms of transport or logistics within the Northern Corridor. So perhaps maybe you could be able to clarify whether this is just a vision or a dream that by 2030, if we can be able to put the mechanisms in place, then we can be able to realize this, because going the sustainable way.
But I'm also I'm also an advocate of using the inland lakes, for example, the water infrastructure. When you look at Europe or other continents, there has been a number of initiatives done through the inland water system. But in Africa, this is very, very rare that we've developed that part. And I think this is something very important for the Northern Corridor. Yes, there is a railway that is coming up. So multimodal shift start with railway, but the Great Lake is important to exploit that part also. So for
We'll come again. We'll have another one from here. Yes, thank you, my brother Rabi, for this elaborated lecture. My focus is a bit in line with what the CC just mentioned earlier. It's on the socio-economic impact of this strategy, which is very important. We are talking about greening the corridors, moving more goods towards the rail, which will improve efficiency. And maybe what I would like to ask alongside this question is that when we say we will reduce cost towards the end, how do we achieve that? Because this had been spoken for donkey years and still price continue to go up. When we take into consideration that those people maybe who live towards the end of the corridor, the economic capacity is less than those of us who live on the coast. And also the impact of this strategy along the corridors now, those small townships that we drive through or throughout, whenever we are going out, like from here to Voi or to Nairobi by road, to understand the impact directly.
That you mentioned, this is so that you mentioned, this is so critical in terms of ensuring that every citizen or the whole population is able to enjoy product at the right time and the right cost. Obviously, those who are going to live more interior will have to pay more, but it has to be more systematic and have the infrastructure in place so that the urban transshipment hubs are present, I think. But adding to that, we see today that there is a lot of SEZ capability that is building up. So that's a two system, one state model. And it is very possible that we combine the urban transshipment hub and the SEZ to become a productive asset. That could be a way of not only sustaining but optimizing cost to have a sustainable end-to-end delivery. In terms of the other thing that you talk about, the social impact, this is something which is very important. And again, it has to be looked in terms of how do we look at the urban and the rural areas? Because unless we have the rural areas that are working, urban cannot work, because everything comes out from the rural. And it is the rural that provides inputs to be able to produce. Cities are only here to administer, right? So I think that's also something that needs to be looked into about. Yes, we talk about urbanization. Maybe urbanization is good, but there's also a lot of thought to be able to be put as how is rural going to be more established so that we don't see a flux coming from rural to urban and there's no one in rural to be able to produce. Yeah.
Well, sir. Thank you. Let's appreciate them again. Another question from the table of the three partners.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Ravi. Thank you for the lecture. I was listening very keenly because I did not miss even a word. What I realized that you've given us a lecture that has brought a picture of a complete ecosystem. That if one side is not performing, the other side will feel the same system now. We need funding so that our manpower can have the skills to implement the system. We have the banking system. And then we have the regulator, the Kenya Maritime Authority, where we are sitting at the headquarters here. Because without regulation, even systems cannot work because there is no level playing ground. Then we have the government, the county government, that provides that kind of umbrella, the security, the road infrastructure, and everything else, including the CCTVs, because things are changing very fast. Then we also have the marketing, where Kenya National Chamber of Commerce is actually doing their best. What is your proposal to this industry? You've given us an overview. How do we approach the training aspect of it? Because without skilled manpower, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, Mombasa may not make good use of it. Without properly trained manpower, I think even the artificial intelligence being an enabler, we may not be able to take it as a leverage. So what is your proposal as our service provider today?
Correct me if I'm wrong. The question is, what is a proposal for Mombasa to be able to create the right talents for the logistics industry?
Correct.
There are two things, two aspects of this question. The logistics today industry is shifting from a traditional movement to more sophisticated, what we call the logistic value added services. For instance, 25% of a GDP of Dubai is contributed by DP World, which is mostly focused on logistic value added services. In Antwerp, the city of Antwerp, 4% of a GDP is contributed by logistic value-added services. In Uruguay, every dollar that the government is spending, investing in free zones or logistic value-added services, they get a return of every dollar they get $5 or $6 as return. And Port of Singapore, every investment that they do, every dollar of investment that they do in logistic value added services, they get a return of 10 times. That shows, the reason I'm pushing that is today we need to, if the logistics industry needs to progress, we need to start shifting from the mindset of, yes, we are just moving products to be more of a logistic value added services, because this is where value is created. And where value is created, this is where you will have generate the income, but also the attractivity for students to come and to learn. I think today is, for me, I was on Saturday, I had a round here. One of the interesting aspects of Mombasa is not only a port, it's not only what we do, But one of the aspects could be to become the emerging hub for the training of logistics and maritime within the East Africa. I don't see any other cities in the East African region, maybe Durban in Southern Africa, but no one in this part, which is as important. There's currently also a full study being done about seafarers and how, because how the population, the global population is shifting, and how Africans would be able to emerge as the next generation to become more seafarers. And when we talk about seafarers, it is the same industry line as logistics. I think there's quite a bit to be thought of, and that could obviously be like we talk about 4 different sectors of an economy. So that could indeed be one of the sector where we see the knowledge economy. So it's more maritime and logistics knowledge economy where Mombasa would play a strong role.
I get fairly exhausted. Thank you.
Thank you. Please allow us to take, how many more hands want to ask a question? Let me see. About 4. So that's 5. 5 and then we are done. So we begin from there, we jump at the back, we come here, then we finish.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ravi, for the extensive session. My name is Munira Salim. I work with Convened Africa Limited. We are a team of consultants in communication. And I also am a business skills trainer and currently studying e-commerce cross-border. You've spoken extensively about authorship. And you've also spoken about Mombasa becoming a globally connected intelligent maritime gateway. Now, my question is, how do we ensure that as Mombasa connects more deeply with global markets, investors, and logistic networks, we do not surrender local authorship?
I think this is the basis. So instead of, and this is where the county government, the national government, and the Chamber of Commerce Industry have a strong role to play. This is not a, how do I put that in a nice word? It's not a complaint that I'm doing, but an observation. Equivalents of KNCCI, for example, across Africa, it's not only KNCCI, but across Africa, they would go out to all markets and will sell everything, but without having local expertise or without having local anchors. And I think this is where it is very important before that the national investment agencies across Africa, including here in particular KNCCI, go out to the markets, to international markets to attract investors. They need first to be able to understand what are the parameters. What is the governmental orientation, and what are the local operators doing? And this is where KNCCI and others need to be able to build that capability of a local enterprise. Obviously, there would be a need today to be able to open up to have joint ventures. But with joint ventures, you need to have a very strong local partner. And this is where building that local partnership is very important. And I really like what the gentleman asked before, because unless you have knowledge, you capture knowledge, then what will happen? Everyone will just come here and they will use the whatever resources is here. And this is where the reason going back here is authorship. So authorship is beyond everything is to create value and to transform, to retain all the stuff, and then to reinvest to compound. But to be able to do that, you need to build strong entrepreneurs locally before going out to the market.
Right, thank you. Thank you. Once again, my name is Juma Ahmed. I'm Assistant Director, Ports and Shipping Services at Kenya Maritime Authority. I think this lecture today is very, very critical. And what comes out is the capacity of the people in the private sector, in the government, on matters green energy, on matters of our clean supply chains. Currently, we are having discussion to have a cold supply chain. We want to have shift from the air to the sea, which is much greener. But we need to build the capacity of the private sector, the knowledge, the model shift, choosing the different modes of transport. Something which we need to see how we can be able to build and sustain these kind of lectures where we can have the private sector working closely with the government towards building the capacity of the people, the users, the service providers in the supply chain. We're shifting now to more greener supply chain. We have seen ships even coming now to the port of Mombasa, now using LNG or other energy sources, which are much greener. And we have to have the conversation. How ready are we as a port destination towards now accommodating that change? It's big. It involves a lot of investment, and it involves a lot of the private sector participation. So I don't know what are the plans can we have now to sustain this kind of conversation, to sustain this kind of capacity building within the industry, at least within the maritime transport sector. We have here the business community, the different sectors are represented, and we are keen also to ensure. At the moment, I think the model split, if you look at the railroad, out of Port of Mombasa is around maybe 26%. How do we build that and also now maintain the socio-economic balance between now the road investment and the rail investment? So I am keen to be able now, if we can be able to build on this conversation with the Chamber of Commerce and other stakeholders towards having a sustainable green or cleaner supply chain. Thank you.
We can give him a round of applause, please. Just to confirm, for those who are praying, we finish. We are answering your prayers very shortly.
Good morning. Good afternoon. No, it is afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Ongicha of Candito International Company, Kenya Limited. Well, first of all, I want to thank you so much for coming and giving us this a very noble idea on how we can thrive and move on with our business. There is something that I wanted to say, that the blue economy is the mark of the day that is going on today, whereby we need to make use of it. It is upon the organizers now that before our brother maybe goes back to leave for us this kind of notes so that we can have them. At the same time, the KNCCI, that you try with the collaboration of our association KIFWA, so that other members also to know about this, to help us move forward on the things that we have been taught or being lectured today. I had one of my colleagues talking about the electric train, which is supposed to be one of the connectivity of our products, right? As we know that time is also going, and some of us, the way we are here, will be going back to the rural, whereby we have been told that the things we are doing today here in Mombasa or anywhere in any big cities comes from the rural, right? I heard when my brother was talking about maybe some lakes, especially we call upon Lake Turkana, Lake Victoria, things like that, which KPA had tried very much to enlarge the territories, right? Whereby when you can be back at home in Kisumu, but your business can still go through the blue economy. What I wanted to say is that, can you enhance so that this information, which is very compact to us today, so that one day also we can relay them to the younger generation who are doing what? Who are coming. Which means that the institutions that are built around us now, we can make use of them. I want to applaud or to thank the CC, Finance and Transport, for what they have done for the business members in Mombasa concerning the rates and all that, which is making the business now to thrive. And I know where they sit now, in one way or the other, they are happy because they collect more than they used to collect before. That is the thing, because immediately they started using KIFWA and the KPA about the rates and all that, things had worked. And we really ask or request that this kind of a meeting, let this one not be the last and the first. We expect to have more so that we can get more enlightened. Even other members who did not come here today can get this kind of information, which is very vital for us. Thank you so much.
So good afternoon. My name is Mary from Technical University of Mombasa. I just wanted to add on what they have said, and somebody else talked about the training and capacity building. And thank you very much, Ravi, for that very interesting and engaging presentation. What is happening, though little, but every journey that you start with a small step. In the local talent, we are trying to grow the local talent because, like in Technical University of Mombasa, we have a Maritime Institute which is started just recently, and we are offering many courses in maritime. So you can inform the members as we try to build capacity so that we can be able to achieve what we have discussed today. You can inform the members that there is a facility at least plus others like Bandari, etc. And we are offering many of that capacity building. And if there's any suggestions that you'd have on this liaison between the industry and the higher institutions, Technical University is there for you, all of you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I know I'm standing between you and prayers. I want to take a very short time. My name is Fred Olali. I work in Moesna. Thank you very much, Mr. Ravi, for the insightful presentation. I picked a lot, but I just want to comment on one area. You said something here which really attracted my attention, that a corridor